So without further ado, let us welcome back a stranger to the microphone. The man about the state. He's a legend in his family's mind. It's This Is My Town, the junior mayor of Taylor, Daniel Seguin.
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, come on. You got your coffee cup over there. We're enjoying all that. And here we are. Welcome back to the microphone, Daniel Seguin. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause. Daniel
Thank you,
Seguin.
Steve. Thank you. Oh, gosh. I learned something new yesterday, Steve. I don't know if you like to learn something new every day as well. I'm guessing you do. You're kind of in that category along with me.
Before you start, did you take the Dale Carnegie sales training?
I did not.
Chance?
I have not.
Because he uses your name every sentence. And that's a Dale Carnegie thing.
Interesting.
It makes whoever you're talking to feel important, Daniel.
Feel important.
Yes, Daniel. And I believe, Daniel, you're very important.
Thank you, Steve.
Welcome back.
Thank you, Steve. So
you're welcome, Daniel.
Did you know that, Steve, that you can learn about? You mentioned terrestrial, right? That's what triggered this in my mind because I'm thinking, it's terrestrial, and I guess there's space based.
There's internet based.
Internet okay,
radio.
That's fair. All right.
We got 68,000 people that listen to us through the internet, through the app, through our app.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It was interesting because I thought in my headspace, and I learned the other day that my weather report that I get on a regular basis from the county, it has space weather. And I can scroll down to the bottom and look at what is the weather happening in space, and that just boggles my mind.
Isn't it always kind of the same thing? Isn't it kind
that's
of
what
cold and lonely?
That's what I thought. Well, what I read this morning on it was that there are two I guess holes is what it called it in the sun that are rotating around towards Earth and could emit
solar flares. Yeah, and it's called a coronal mass ejection.
Yes.
How about that?
Have you ever had one of those?
I had one yesterday when I got home.
I just thought that was fascinating. So you learn something new every day.
Well, that is, you can hear KRXT up at the space station.
Really?
Yeah.
Have we tested
thank you,
it yet?
Elon Musk. Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
No.
Maybe that needs to be part of this nomination when you guys get voted the best
nominated
station
from the
Texas.
Space Station. We'll talk to Elon and see if he can help us.
See if he can help us with that.
Well, look, you've been gone. Welcome back. Seriously.
Thank you.
Now, your compadre over here who's decided he's back behind the cameras is not getting anywhere near the microphone. Jarrett did a great job while you were gone. So you don't have to worry about a fill-in problem for you because Jarrett's got it covered.
I thought maybe I could just retire because he's doing a fantastic job.
No, there's too many big things in your future. You need to build up some recognition. So Daniel and I were talking off the air, and we're right in the middle, and we're behind the curveball because of the runoff election. Budgeting.
We are.
First workshop was yesterday.
It was last week.
Last week.
Yes, on Tuesday, actually.
Okay, so last Tuesday. Where are we in that process?
We're actually nearing the, I don't want to say the end, really, because budgeting starts every year after the new budget begins, which is wild. So every year on October 1, we start a new budget. And throughout the year, right, we're working on, okay, well, what do we need next year? What does next year's budget look like based on what's going on this year? And so we're constantly working on it, improving it, thinking through what do we need for our various departments. So it really starts in earnest with each department assessing what their needs are for the coming year based on their goals, submitting those to city management for review, and then city management beginning to interpret those in the spring.
So Taylor's form of government, like most cities this size, is a city manager form of government. The city manager is the CEO, basically, of the and council and mayor direct policy.
Yes,
that the city manager implements.
Right.
So
policy and budget.
So really, they set the budget numbers, but the city manager really divests the dollars and provides the input and feedback with where we're going as a city.
Yeah, the council can provide an overall vision, the goals for what they'd like to see in the coming year or multiple years, while they're here in office. But really, it comes down to the city manager to say, well, what does it look like for us to implement those goals while also maintaining the standard operations that are expected from this community that are just taken as a given, taken for granted in some ways. Mm-hmm. And so basically what departments are asked to present is based on council's goals, based on the department's goals, city management's goals. One, what money do you need to keep doing what we've been doing exactly as we've been doing it to maintain? And then what additional, we call it adjustments to base. What additional adjustments to base does your department need to achieve the goals that you've outlined for this year or that council's outlined for this year? And so that's really what was presented at the workshop last week. We were primarily focused on those adjustments to base, those additional items above and beyond what we did last year.
Because you never start with a clean slate budget. You always start from kind of where you ended up last year, where the surpluses and the deficits were, adjust for those, and then let's look at, okay, what's next?
That's a good question. A lot of folks would like to see us start, it's called zero-based budgeting, what you mentioned, where we start at zero and we begin to work our way up. And to some degree, that is still the case. What folks don't necessarily realize is around 70-80% of our budget, I think it's 70, is personnel. So when you talk about the number of firefighters on the street, right, the number of police officers on the street, the number of people in the library maintaining operations, the number of folks out weed whacking in the parks,
Tyler would like you to mention Parks and Rec in that sentence. Just FYI.
Yes, the amount of folks weed whacking in the parks, right? That we got a lot of grass to cut,
right? But there's
and to maintain
programs.
Yeah, program. We only right now we only have one program person in our parks office, and we definitely should have.
Tyler.
We need more. Actually, his name is Matt. There's a guy named Matt who does programs.
What does Tyler do? What's his role?
Tyler is the puppet master in the parks department. He's the director, so he maintains all of the operations.
You should say that. Puppet master sounds like you got all these strings being pulled behind the curtain. Tyler does a wonderful job with what he has. We went and toured Murphy Park the other day.
Sure enough.
And that pool is looking fantastic. Can't wait till next year when that thing finishes up. And the miniature golf course, man, that's shiny. Well, they really brought that thing back, and it's very prominent now.
Yes, and thanks so much to the High School National Honor Society for getting out there and helping us to really improve that putt-putt course and get it up to where it's just enjoyable, right? We only have 17 holes that are functional.
Well, we're putting in an 18th hole. We'll be serving adult beverages and snow cones.
Sure enough.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Made people
you heard it here first on KRXT.
Right. You're nominated for top 5 country station in Texas.
Putting in an 18th hole at the local putt-putt course. I'll talk to Tyler after this.
Why is there an 18 hole missing?
Well, it was crumbling. There was really no way to save it, so we had to take it out.
Well, how hard is it to pour some concrete, lay some AstroTurf, and knock a hole in it?
Well, if you'd like to spend the $10,000 to build one, we'd be happy to take that.
I bet you we can get a group of citizens out there from the Rotary Club, and you could build the 18th hole, name it after your club, and have it done in one afternoon out there at Murphy
will it be
Park.
Enjoyable to play, right? Will it have some features and some twists and
Sure,
turns?
It will have
a windmill or something?
It'll have that's what it needs.
We need a windmill.
It needs a windmill. That's the thing it's missing, some height of some stuff.
Yes, maybe a mountain that you have to climb up through. And then
the Matterhorn?
Sure.
Maybe you have to putt through the Matterhorn and it goes around and around and around and depends on what hole it
Maybe
comes
we need
out.
some little model Samsung factory that it goes through as well. Maybe we'll talk to Michelle and see if we can get that. A little.
Good luck talking to Michelle and getting
Samsung
that.
one.
Personal inside baseball. Go right through the. Hey, it could no. How about a duck?
Oh,
it like lays an egg under the duck. Man, we're thinking outside the box here today. Come on, Tyler.
Maybe thinking outside the coop as well.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you said. That's a chicken thing, though.
Well,
we're not
you
the
could
chickens.
keep some ducks
we're
in
the
the coop.
Ducks.
You don't have ducks in your coop?
No, I've got 2 ducks. I swear to gosh, I'm going to film B&H. B&H live on the pond out at the ranch, right? But when I drive up, they start skedaddling up to greet me at the house.
I think the proper term is waddling. They waddle
no,
up.
they skedaddle because I feed them there at the shop. So they'll come up and they'll just go whack, 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 whack. And it's so funny to watch them. because they hear when I'm coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And the pond is a good ways away. And, waddling, that's why they skedaddle, because waddling is kind of slow.
Oh, I see.
But they skedaddle because they like that feed. And they start quacking. It's the funniest thing. They eat, they look at me, they quack twice, and they go back to the pond.
There it is.
And how they've survived in the country with coyotes and bobcats and every other predator known to man. And they've just lived a great life.
Yeah.
It's been 3 years now.
Well, I hope you haven't jinxed it by saying that.
Well, me too.
We'll see.
Me too, but I think these are smart dang ducks.
I'll check in next week and see if your ducks are still around.
I'm going to video it for you.
Okay.
I promise you.
Perfect. You can show me on the radio as well.
There's video cameras.
We want to hear him quack, quack, quacking.
Oh, I got that.
Yeah.
No problem. Anyway, so boy, did we roll the train off the tracks
We
there
did.
for that.
So the budget process, right? We had the workshop last week. We talked about what those additional requests are for this coming year. What are the increases?
Hey, before we do this, because I know you're about to get in the weeds like the Ducks.
Yes.
Let's take a little break at the top of the hour. You're listening to Hometown Highlights with Daniel Seguin, who is Texas royalty with that last name. Here in Taylor, he's the Director of Communications Extraordinaire. You're listening to Hometown Highlights right here on 98.5 KRXT Rockdale, Taylor, the heartbeat of Milam, Lee, and Williamson County. So we'll be right back after these. Now we're talking about Taylor, Texas, the town. And, one of the great things about Taylor is, before you dive into this eye rolling in the back of the head budget process, is Ancera Salsa, a locally created by the Ancera family, 3 generations. Trade just announced they're in Wyoming now. So you can get Ancera Salsa in Wyoming, or down at Myers Elgin Sausage, or down at H-E-B's Premier Central Market. Heck, you can even go to the Capitol and visit your ancestors' monument down there and pick up Ancera Salsa in the Capitol gift shop. 7 varieties, all delicious, all unbelievable, all made right here in beautiful Taylor, Texas, where budgeting continues.
Their family. We talked about Putt Putt earlier. Their family's helping to establish a nonprofit, Friends of the Parks, that's going to help fund Putt Putt renovations.
We're going to do that big celebrity putting championship tournament out there.
Whenever you put the 18th hole in.
Wherever we put and people are texting me going, well, you opened it up. Why don't you do it, big boy?
There we go.
I'm like, no, we're not doing me with a big...
Maybe we should have a sports cast as well with some commentary from Jay. Now that he's not in the room, we can told him to do some commentary on the putt-putt.
And I don't know where he went.
event.
He just left. Did you notice that? He just shagged. He must have had an emergency, if you know what I mean. Oh, here he's back.
He's coming
Did you
back.
get your order from Whataburger? Was that what it was? He's learned DoorDash, ladies and gentlemen. And after every show, he's now DoorDashing Whataburger, which is not a bad idea, I might add.
Can add that to the one-pager with when we go to the tournaments and when we go to the 4th of July, when he's advertising himself, he can add canned DoorDash on the advertisement now.
Mold
in here. That's high. That's what's on the high count for the Audi count today.
Oh, so you're suffering from mold. Bless your heart.
Yeah.
Look, ladies, he's not perfect. He's got a few flaws, but that's okay. That's what makes him more lovable and humanizes him. He's not a big star on the radio that doesn't have his challenges, and mold is his. Back to you. Back to you,
Well, we
Daniel.
were talking about the budget, right? And we were talking about how last week we went over what we call our adjustments to base, where each department has requested additional funds on top of maintaining existing operations to achieve their own goals, as well as council set goals and city management set goals. So
Sure.
what I wanted to share first, this is kind of the shocking bit.
Well, the mayor shared some big news yesterday that the tax rate is going down.
It is.
That's great news for everybody.
It is great news. It's one of those things that as our values grow, as we get more industrial based, especially more commercial, that helps to increase the values, and I'll talk about that in a second, the values of the whole community, which means the rate can be lower while we're still maintaining our existing operations and improving operations. So that's the really end state goal, like has happened in Round Rock and other places where you have a tremendous amount of value and your rate is super low. The amount individual homeowners pay is much lower than it would be in a smaller town with mostly residential and lower values.
Right.
So that's really the end state. When we're looking at this coming budget cycle, we had approximately $9 million in requests from individual departments.
Okay.
So that
An
was
additional
new
$9
money.
million,
Yes, an additional $9 million. So, we have to be fiscally responsible with the funds that we receive and make sure that we're still able to decrease the tax rate as we grow. And so the city management office has recommended about $2.5 million of that to the council for approval. The other 6.6 is recommended to not be approved or still under review.
Could you give us an idea of, am I putting you on the spot, what part of the 6 is that didn't
get recommended?
Yeah.
You want to start with those?
Why not? Let's start with
Sure.
the negative. That way we can go to the positive.
Sure. Some of the bigger ones is the police department and fire department. Fire department requested a new fire engine, 6 new firefighter positions, 3 new battalion chief positions, and quite a bit of equipment. So to give you an idea, that 6 new firefighters essentially gets you 1 new staffed truck. That will be staffed throughout every single shift. And then the battalion chiefs are needed. We heard about the tragedy that happened this last weekend down in Fannie Robinson Park with the old Dickie Gibbons Community Center burned down. And I don't know if for those of you who did go to the fire or saw it from a distance or saw photos, you saw a truck there from Hutto. And that truck was because we needed a battalion chief, someone to manage and lead the scene, the firefighting scene. Right. And we don't have any of those. And
we don't have a battalion chief?
We don't. So we'll have acting battalion chiefs, or our chief or assistant chief will be there sometimes. When they're unavailable, we have to bring in a battalion chief from Hutto. So they came in, took over the scene, and managed the situation.
Let me ask a serious question from someone that doesn't understand.
Sure.
Why don't we have a battalion chief, and why are we not funding one if we need one in this budget cycle?
That's a great question. So we're having to kind of weigh council priorities, goals for the future, and how much funds we have available, while also trying to meet the community demand of decreasing the tax rate. And so it's really a big balancing act. So we are providing some funded things. One thing we're doing with the fire department is there's a grant called the SAFER Grant, which provides funding for 3 years to a certain percentage of salaries for additional staffing at our fire department to bring them up to national standards of how many folks on staff. So we are still adding into the budget the funds to do the grant matching funds, right? So when you get a grant, you have to put up so much local dollars to get your grant.
But let me ask this. When that occurred Sunday, that tragedy, and we had to bring a battalion chief from Hutto,
sure,
do we have to reimburse Hutto for their time and all that?
That is a great question. So the answer is no. So all of these local fire departments
have interlocal
agreements. So when Hutto has an issue, we help and we respond if they need us. And when we have an issue, they respond. In fact, I saw a news story the other day from Fort Worth. They had a fire so big, they had what they call a 6-alarm call. And
everybody shows up from everywhere that's got a red truck. And
they do. From
boots.
Cities all over the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. You ended up with, I think they said in the neighborhood of 60 apparatus respond to that fire. 60.
That's a
60.
lot of firemen.
A lot of firemen, hundreds of firemen. And then if you think about it, when, say, Arlington sends some guys, well, now Arlington is understaffed, so then they need some backfill from other cities.
Sure.
And so often you'll end up with this shuffle of fire departments for hundreds of miles out who then shift apparatus and men inwards to help each city cover the fires.
Should something break out in their own city that they're responding.
Exactly. So really, it's unrealistic to think that we can have enough folks in any community to respond to every situation. So that's why we operate in an industry where there's cooperation between cities to help one another respond, because you're never going to have enough to cover the worst of the possible disasters.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's a great question. So, yeah, we'd like to have a battalion chief on every shift. We have 3 shifts. So that's why we had requested 3 battalion chiefs.
Okay.
So that's one example.
What's another?
In police, excuse me, they were requesting a new unit called a problem-oriented policing unit. And this is something that's kind of a newer type of unit that exists in other communities as well. And that's when you have, let's say, there's going to be a big protest coming in. You'll bring in that problem-oriented policing unit to increase staffing levels for a particular event.
That's a very, very politically correct way to call a riot squad.
Well, it's not just for that, though. That's the thing. It's not just a riot squad, right?
A problem, though, requires a different type of presence.
Sure. Let me give you another example. Let's say there's a particular drug issue that's been identified, and we need some additional manpower focused on that issue while still maintaining patrol around the rest of the community.
Okay.
So that unit could then set up near the scene with a command trailer, right? Develop full operations to maintain.
That's going to put the kibosh on business, isn't it? You put a command center right there by the local corner where somebody's selling a dime bag. That's going to run business off.
Sure, but really the point is it would be a unit that's focused on problems where we could maintain patrol in the surrounding community, maintain traffic enforcement while focusing on issues within the community as well. So that's one unit that right now is still under review / unfunded for the coming year. That's been requested.
So that's probably the 2 biggest of that 6.
They are. That is the 2 largest.
So what's some of the new 2 mil that is being approved?
That is a good question. So let me back up in my notes here.
You got more sticky notes.
I've got 133 pages from the presentation last week.
And everyone has a sticky note on it. Are you in the sticky note business?
I'm not, but I do like to use them. They're helpful.
Well, and they're almost tailored duck green. I noticed that too.
So one of the things in the budget is our sesquicentennial celebration. So next year, let me say that again for you: sesquicentennial.
Look,
and that's our 150th celebration of Taylor.
We know what that means. Jay and I both went to college. We've been to the sesquicentennial of Texas.
Oh yes, indeed, indeed. Okay. So next year is our sesquicentennial, 150 years of Taylor. So we're budgeting to use the Samsung Quality of Life funds that come in every year.
Cool.
To fund that celebration. Really, it's going to be all year long. We're looking at having a multitude of events surrounding celebrating our 150th.
And are you going to bring all the community activist type groups? And I'm talking about like Taylor Rodeo Association, Rotary, Kiwanis. We don't have JCs here yet, but all those groups together to
Lions Club.
Lions Club.
All the groups are going to be invited to participate and or brand their event surrounding the sesquicentennial. Make it something special.
We're going to do a special logo and all that. We're going to have a special commemorative duck.
Yes,
I hope
commemorative coin. We're going to do a time capsule, which we're really excited about as well.
Well, I'll give you something for the time capsule.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to have a call for submissions to the time capsule as well, which we're real excited about. And then we're really hopeful that the new City Hall, we're going to actually design a space for the time capsule to go.
Oh, it'll go inside City Hall. Maybe put it right where the mayor sits. A little safe right there so that...
Right. So it's safe.
It's safe.
Yes. So that's one. One of the things that I'm excited about because it's in my department.
How much is allocated for that?
The official amount's to be determined, but the total we get from Samsung every year is $150,000. That's fairly average for what communities are spending for their sesquicentennial. Some communities are going as high as $400,000.
Is there a particular date it will culminate?
Not yet. That's coming soon.
Will there be a fireworks drone show?
There possibly will be a drone show.
Okay.
Or a fireworks show. Yeah, we're gonna have some pretty cool stuff we're putting together right now. One of the things I'm most excited about because it's in my department is...
Of course it is.
Of course.
That's self-centered.
Well, hold on. The thing is less self-centered, right? We're really focusing this year on ADA and accessibility in my department this coming budget year. So we're really going to be looking at and assessing what things we're publishing, where we're publishing them, and how accessible are they for folks with screen readers and other tools that they use to read when they aren't able to use their own eyes and ears. And so one of the things we are going to be adding next year is, if approved by council, is subtitles on our website for council meeting streams and other meetings.
Well, that's just
as
a
well.
plug-in thing too. That's not that expensive. You can buy in our business. When we do things that are on television,
Yes.
they have to be closed captioned.
Right.
So and Adobe does that now simply.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
So don't spend any money on that. Put us back in a fire brigade. Oh, you want more staff?
Well, and we're talking about live closed captioning. So Adobe can do things after the fact.
Well, there's a program that does it live too.
Right, and that's what we're paying for. That's what we'll be paying for in the coming year.
You got all red-faced on that. We're going to dive into this closed captioning thing a little closer for Daniel.
We can dive in a little closer if you want.
All right, so that's cool. And you know what? And I appreciate any city, even when they go in and they do. And Taylor is really good because I like to walk downtown at lunch and we'll go walk somewhere for lunch. And all the crossings are visually impaired. You can hear them talk, wait, and the beeps and all that for visually impaired folks. So
yeah, we really appreciate TxDOT investing a lot of funds in our
sidewalks.
our crossings.
Are wheelchair accessible, except for this building. You got to take the elevator. It takes a PhD in industrial mechanics to operate to get here. But
that reminds me, I need to plug our. We're working right now on
Don't say plug.
a
promote.
Sorry, our sidewalks, trails, and ADA master plan. So we're assessing all of our sidewalks and trails across Taylor, and looking at where are we needing new sidewalks, where do we need to make existing sidewalks ADA accessible, as well as additional trail networks. And so we're actually going to be sending out a survey very soon to the whole community about that. Through our new flash vote system, as well as doing some public engagement events in different facilities across town. So
That's
we're
awesome.
really excited about improving accessibility, not only online, but also physically in the community. One of the other big items, we're looking at updating our comprehensive plan and land development code. After the last update, which happened right before Samsung announced coming to Taylor, we really got a lot of good feedback from developers, a lot of good feedback from residents who liked a lot of aspects of the plan, a lot of the ideas that were espoused by the plan, focusing on infill development, improving existing parts of Taylor, as well as making Taylor more walkable and easier for folks to really build community and not focus so much on cars. But there were some elements of the code that made development a lot more difficult and restrictive. And so we're working on collaborating with developers to improve the land development code in the coming year.
With citizen input.
With citizen input, absolutely.
Good.
Okay. We're looking at some additional public art funds in our downtown area as a part of the Main Street Department. We're working on a lot of tool and equipment replacement at the fire department that's aged and out of date. I see hydraulic rescue tools. They're
Jaws of life.
Yes. Those are. Can you believe they're $100,000?
Sure, I
for
can.
one piece of equipment.
Have you ever tried to operate one?
I haven't.
Man, that is not an easy thing to do. It takes practice.
Absolutely.
Training.
I believe it.
You got to constantly train.
Yes. A variety of other equipment there for the fire department. We're looking at a new communications officer for the police department.
A PIO?
Communications officer and PD is more focused on dispatch, so it's the 911 operator. So occasionally we have in that office only one person taking 911 calls. So
we have our own dispatch here for the city of Taylor. We don't go through the Williamson County Communications.
For policing, that's correct.
For policing?
Yes, for fire and EMS, they go through Williamson County.
Would that make sense, though, to look at doing that with Williamson County as opposed to trying to do it local, because that's what everybody else is kind of going to?
Yeah, it's a good question. That has been discussed, and they're still a backup, right, if we're overwhelmed with calls.
Right.
But
so we only have
ultimately,
one 911 call taker on duty at any time?
No. Occasionally we have only one, and that's because of sick leave and time off and that sort of thing. Sure. So adding an additional one would make sure we are able to maintain two or more at most of the time in the department.
Can we finish budget and you can come back next week? And
of course, yeah, we can absolutely do a two-part.
Because I think most of our audience is probably glassed eyes over going, is this all there is to talk about? It's July 4th week, gentlemen.
It is.
Which is a big deal, especially here. We got a parade at 9 o'clock, and this is all partnership with the City of Taylor, American Legion Post 39, and KRXT, and a whole bunch of other folks that are involved. And there's going to be a parade at 9 o'clock, and it lines up at, we realized Old Taylor High number 1 is where that will be, the parade, because we can't shut down 95. It's a state highway, and that's an act of Congress to literally do. And it only happens like once a year with the car show.
Yes.
So.
And it's expensive. It is
It's
wildly
very
expensive.
expensive to do, to reroute traffic, because you got to have full-time officers directing traffic the entire time. They can't just put up some barricades and go, good luck.
Right.
And then after that, we got a watermelon and ice cream social. We found out yesterday, Greg Redden, one of your newest council members, slices up watermelon over at the American Legion Post, and then they have ice cream, which I'm hoping is Bluebell, but we'll see. Any ice cream that's free is a good ice cream.
Yes.
4 o'clock, Dale Watson comes on. Dale's a friend of ours. He's going to start a new show here in August on Sundays. Quit looking at your watch. And then you like the way I just worked that in without even looking. And then, of course, the big fireworks show, which is set to music, which you need to download, and you need to help me get the word out, Daniel. Where are your brothers in arms? To download the KRXT app, and at 9 o'clock it will be timed with the fireworks, will be a musical, 15-minute musical presentation brought to you by the fine folks of us.
Love it.
On KRXT. And then the fireworks do not kick off over Murphy Duck Pond.
They do not.
They shoot from Memorial Baptist Church backyard.
Yes.
Which is across the street.
Yes.
So please give the Memorial Baptist Church people their due with that.
Yes. We want to make sure we're protecting the wildlife, the wonderful wildlife in Murphy Park.
The egrets that are on Egret Island out there. We
Yes.
ought to name that. We ought to put a big statue on that.
Of an egret?
No, of Juan Seguin. We're going to put a big statue of Juan Seguin out there. That way people will know your history.
I'm sure people would be really appreciative of something about
Well,
nothing to do with Taylor.
Remember the out. It certainly does with you sitting in that chair.
Well,
think about that. Okay, and look, we got movies at the I want to call it the new Dickie Givens Center, due to the fact what happened to the old one. But tomorrow is the family movie Migration, which is about ducks. How about that?
Who knew?
Who knew? I don't know who comes. If this is Tyler, Tyler needs just a promotion, because that's smart. And then the July 9th, we got Finding Nemo, which is a sensory-friendly screening. You know what that means, right? What do you got over there? You got an Amazon sale going on?
I was just getting Daniel the list of movies.
I was looking. I realized in my notes I have movies in the park, but I don't have the list.
Got them right here. Finding Nemo is July 9th, and that's one of those, the lights stay on in the movie, so you have access for those people that are challenged with noises and things like that. That's how that works. And then the 16th is Super Mario Brothers. July 23rd is Inside Out, and that's another sensory-friendly screening. And then July 30th is Shark Tale. And all this is courtesy of the City of Taylor, Texas, the Parks and Rec Department.
And we have to also make sure we thank Samsung because of their funding, we actually have a recreation coordinator and able to hold these kinds of events because of their donations and their quality of life funds. So I always have to give them a little shout out when we talk about our programming in the Parks Department. And
I must give a shout out to a fellow named Jared Kingery. He is responsible he's the communication specialist.
Yes.
Here, and he's the one that keeps me informed and up to date and keeps you on screen looking pretty.
Yes.
For the camera. So, but let's talk about from a city standpoint, code enforcement, fireworks being shot off inside the city limits.
Yeah, it's a great question. We're actually going to have folks out patrolling the streets, making sure folks are sticking to the rules and not shooting off fireworks in the city limits. And here's the thing. I used
fined for that.
You do, and I used to live out in the country. I grew up in the country, and I get it. We want to shoot off fireworks. It's fun. I did it every year as well at home growing up.
Let me see your fingers.
I still
you
have.
must have been pretty good at it because you still got them all.
I still got them all.
There you go.
But one of the issues in a small town like ours is folks are all close together, right? So when we're shooting off fireworks in our neighborhoods, it's really a fire hazard for neighbors. It can cause a major fire that gets to multiple homes, God forbid. Also, when it comes to our animals, right? When we're so close together, animals do not like fireworks. I know my dog gets terrified every time. So for folks who got animals, make sure you put them into a safe space where they can't get out easily, and hopefully where they can't hear the fireworks. I put them it's kind of like when there's a tornado. I put my dog in an interior windowless room.
The laundry room.
Yes. And to try and I have, in our laundry room, we actually have an exhaust fan I turn on for noise to hopefully help drown out the fireworks as well. To
I
give
thought
her a
you
little
just
peace.
sang the Star Spangled Banner or something, and that would drown out noise.
Well, you know what we'll do this year is we'll turn on KRXT for her. Oh, man. We'll listen to the show.
You listen to the fireworks show to music.
Yes.
Right? That's well played. That's why you are who you are, and big things for you coming up. Folks, the animal shelters on July 5th are overrun with animals. Pay attention. Put your pet up if you've got one. If you're somewhere you got a lot of animals around your neighbors, don't be a bad neighbor. Tell them you're going to shoot fireworks so they can prepare their animals too.
Yes.
For it, just be good citizens.
Yes, and a lot of folks will say, well, hey, the city's doing it. Why can't we? Well, what I'd like to share is we make sure we shoot off the fireworks in a location, and we have a fall zone. We have professionals who calculate the wind direction, estimate the fall zone for all the ash, and ensure that it's not falling on any homes or neighborhoods. And then we also bring out firefighters, and they're on site to make sure that if there are any small embers that start little grass fires, that they're there to put them out and take care of it. Right? So it really is a collaborative environment where we're working to control and protect the community. So that's why it's so important for folks not to do this in their backyard, but come out to Murphy Park and enjoy the show.
I am so proud of the job that you do getting the word out for the city of Taylor. I mean, that's a great way to answer the question, well, the city does it, why can't I? And where they shoot fireworks is not to disturb the wildlife, even in Murphy Park. It's moved over a little bit north of there, so we're not disturbing as much. And they're there to provide safety. It's fun, right? We're here to celebrate. And by the way, if you ever go overseas to London, England, that area, and you happen to be there on the 4th of July, they don't celebrate that.
They don't.
So don't run around with waving your flag and all that, because they're
going to be looking at you funny.
They're a little sensitive, I think, still about that.
They may be, but you can still download the KRXT app and listen to the show for 4th of July.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we have Daniel Seguin on the show on Tuesdays, because his witty banter. He's very witty banter. Welcome back to the show, Jared. Thank you for all you do for the city as well, and thanks for filling in for Daniel while he was taking a little time off to family.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that.